is 6:07 PM. I'd like to call to order the June 5th, 2017 meeting of the East Hampton Conservation Commission. Public concerns, non-agenda items. None. Okay. No public hearings. And we have a certificate of compliance in front of us for number 6 of 30 Paul Street, unit number 6. Now, we did a site visit there on Tuesday, 5:30, at 5:30 PM. Melissa was there, I was there, and Jessica was there. It was May 30th at 5:30.
May 30th. I was not there.
I went by this afternoon, but I only went to lot 6.
All right, so, the applicant is not here. So there's a question about the status of the request included the certificate of compliance for the stormwater. I forget exactly what the language was, but it was for the stormwater management system, or the entire road and lot 6 as well. How is it in the, how is it
You mean
in
the order of conditions?
agenda?
And the agenda says request for compliance for relative to 30 Paul Street and stormwater management system.
Copy of all the decisions for conservation.
Okay.
So there's a stormwater permit that was a separate piece of paper, and then there was the order of conditions, which had stormwater language in the appendix.
Yep.
So it's in 2 different locations.
So I guess it's not clear if we got an as-built drawing yet.
I'm not aware of an as-built
Yeah.
drawing.
For some reason, I thought we talked about this like a year ago and went through some of this stuff, but I don't know. think
Well, I
just
know that
made
at
it
one
up.
point, I think it's in 2015.
So this is probably the as-built here with the deck on the back.
But that's the as-built just for lot 6.
That's for lot 6, yes, not for the stormwater portion.
Oh, that's interesting.
This is a copy, this is the same thing.
This as-built has stone here, and it looked like they were doing
There's,
the mulch.
Mr. Garska said they were changing it from stone to mulch. And they put stone under the stairs, and it looks like they're gonna do the rest of the mulch.
Does that need to get changed on here, or is that not your?
I don't know if that was really that critical.
Okay,
I don't think it was in the order of conditions that they had to do anything there.
okay.
Okay.
There was supposed to have been inspections at various points in the construction of stormwater infrastructure. Do we know if those happened?
Those did happen.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, do we want to act on this, or do we want to move this out to our June 19th meeting? Because we don't have Mr. Garska here anyways.
I guess my feeling is we act on lot 6 anyways, but, were there questions too about some vegetation management beyond the limit of work or something like that?
Mhm. Yeah, I think there need to be specifications in the approval about what they're able to, I mean, I think it's already in the order of conditions, but it seems like they're gonna be
Well, I think
trying
there's
to push
some
it.
poison ivy or something in that area beyond the limit of work that they want to deal with, but I think they have to come in here and discuss it with us on a separate occasion, not part of this.
Do you think Melissa would want language in there about dumping vegetation?
Yes, that's the only other thing, because everything else is pretty straightforward, that they can't dump grass clippings and vegetation past the line. They're gonna remove the silt fence and things like that.
There wasn't supposed to be any kind of monumentation at the back of the lawn line, was there?
Not that I
I think
remember.
there's one pin back there, isn't
Maybe on the other corner.
there? Yeah, I feel like it's towards lot 5.
You know, on the properties on this side, there may have been, but I didn't see any markers unless there was a stake. Yeah, there was a stake there, but I didn't see any monument that said,
Yeah, I think
that was concrete or anything like that.
I mean, I guess it looks like Melissa added in the ongoing conditions. I don't know if she,
What ongoing conditions are there?
17, 34, 36, 38.
I think they're in the,
Yeah.
in the definitely.
Do you want me to read through them, or?
Sure. Pick something to do, give it a
So they have to maintain culverts, collection basins, traps, blah, 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 blah. Water quality, resource areas. No rock salt, no fertilizers or pesticides within the 100-foot buffer. No underground storage of fuel. Or spilling of fuel. All hazardous waste needs to be disposed of properly. And they have to inform future buyers that the property is subject to the Wetlands Protection Act.
Is that it?
They have to stick to lawn limits, and any work beyond the 100-foot buffer zone requires an order of conditions and or determination of applicability. Did you get the yard waste form or anything? Did you?
It's in here as number 50, so
Yeah. I'm just wasn't sure if
Let me
there
know.
was-
screw him up.
Right, no dumping of yard waste beyond in the resource area. And for the sale of the property, a letter is required stating that they acknowledge the wetland restrictions on the site. Seems to cover it.
Yeah, well, that's good.
All right, well, I move that we issue a partial certificate of compliance for lot number 6 with the ongoing conditions as noted.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright, so I don't think I have to check anything. Ongoing conditions, just checks. Set down for signatures.
Who seconded that?
I did.
All right.
Do you need a pen? Julie's is nicer than mine.
Why don't you? I'm taking a pen. Yay.
Do we think we know the rules about fertilizer and pesticides? Cause the 100-foot buffer is pretty much their whole property. You just assume that they do an order of it.
Well, it's then in the conditions, it's in the ongoing conditions, so
Yeah, I guess we did our due diligence.
I guess,
Is there actually
Well, since, attachment B is specified, I thought, right? Yeah.
What is attachment B?
Isn't it somewhere?
Yeah, it's an application of fertilizers or pesticides to lawn or gardens.
Yeah. So we just assume, okay. Can I have my coffee?
Oh, sorry, I just have like a marker.
All right, so we don't have anyone to give this to today.
I can take it, I have to scan it, send it to DEP, get a copy to the applicant.
All right, thank you.
Here, but do you want a hard copy for your files?
We
though?
probably should, yes.
I'll do that here, doing other stuff.
So should we add the, we'll add the stormwater part to the next agenda, I guess?
Okay. Now, June 19th.
Jeepers creepers, I'm jumping all over the place here. Fingers are too fat for this.
There's the tiny little keyboard. But so useful. Thanks, Jay.
Portable.
Is that just next week, or?
That's
is it
2 weeks.
2 weeks, so. Really? Why?
Because we're not supposed to meet, we don't usually meet tonight.
Yeah,
usually
we-
meet the first.
We meet the second and the fourth Mondays, so
Right.
is
For
that,
some reason this.
so that should be next week, right? When's our next meeting?
Second and fourth Mondays of the month.
So
It's
the-
not the first
It's not.
Monday though.
Oh,
So the
why are you
12th.
meeting today?
We can't figure it out, there was a
I
reason,
think
but
we
we don't
moved
know.
because of the
Because of the-
holiday,
yeah.
at
We
the
don't know
end of the
why.
month or something.
Oh,
Right.
because of
Fourth of
Memorial
July.
Day?
Yeah.
That's what it was, so you're doubling up or tripling up.
Yeah, so next
Yeah.
week, I think we're meeting next week,
We're not.
probably. We're not?
Mm-mm.
No, I put them all in my calendar.
Right,
It's
okay.
every other week.
It's this month,
It's the
like it
19th.
usually is, it's just
19th,
not the
5th and the
normal.
19th
Oh.
is this month,
Alright.
so.
Okay.
It's weird.
We're changing things, I can't deal with it.
It's only this one, no one knows why.
I think it's because of Memorial Day.
Yeah, it is because of Memorial Day, but I guess I forgot that we
Oh,
then
you
decided
You
to,
split the different, right,
yeah,
Okay, it was the very end of May, got it.
so you up a week.
yeah, but it's, so instead of having 2 weeks in a row, we decided to take the next meeting and kick
Mhm.
it back a week, so,
Yeah.
yeah, alright. Alright. So that's June
19th.
19th. Boy, how's it June already?
So June 19th, if the applicant comes in my office, you're gonna take up the stormwater part, is that what you decided?
Yeah.
We'll put it on that agenda.
If they're ready for it,
They're
so
ready.
there may be stuff.
Yep. Alright, I'm all set.
There are no emergency certifications. Enforcement actions, there's 3 gall enforcement actions, but I don't think we've heard anything on those from the state. On properties at Northampton Street, I don't recall seeing any updates, and emails on that.
Did they come in last time?
Yes.
Because I missed the last meeting, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So no updates on those. You sent out something on the orchards?
Yes, so I
Open
was
space.
tasked with coming up with a schedule of work. So I have a very rough draft that I'm hoping you all can help me out with. Want one?
If you have an extra one.
Oh, yeah. Printed 6.
So what, just for those of us who
Yeah.
have been skipping a lot of things lately, how,
Oh, you're
how is all the, how did all the meetings and things go?
We got it!
Alright.
Yeah.
It went very smooth, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it went very smooth.
Excellent.
Yeah, so we
Good work
got
getting that through.
the CPA grant.
Yep.
And we don't know exactly when that money will be released. released, but we're ready.
It's released,
Oh.
it's available.
Awesome.
Wow.
Okay, so I'll go through what I have, and maybe people can just chime in as we go. So it seems like the next steps are to do. I have an RFP here, or is it a RDA? I don't even know what this is.
I think we're trying to get a price for this.
If it's under $10,000,
Okay.
you don't need to do an RFP.
I wasn't sure what an RFP was. We need an RDA.
It's a request for proposals, RFP.
Yeah,
Got
so,
it.
You need an RDA,
We
okay.
need an RDA for brush hogging in that site.
So you're asking me to do that for you, and I'm going to be honest that until the Cook Road acquisition, is done, which is a land acquisition for drinking water supply that's happening, we have a June 30th deadline with the
Okay.
state grant. So until that kind of goes through and we're all hands on deck for that, I'm not gonna be able to get to this RDA.
Okay.
Just-
Is that something that we can do, or what's the?
we did for the community garden, so it is something we can do.
We did it ourselves to
Yeah.
vote it
Melissa said
ourselves.
that we did not do it for the.
Well, the planning department
would
was
submit it
was
up,
the applicant,
I'm
but
the
we
applicant.
prepared it.
Okay. So I could prepare it,
Yep.
do the same thing before.
You can prepare and just put my name on it.
Okay, and really it is just to brush hog the site so we can go in.
Just so we have access
survey.
to see what's really going on, get a better survey of what's happening.
Okay, so I'm understanding that part right, so I can work on
And he's
that.
gonna do that for free, or are we paying him?
Yeah, he wants this to happen, so he
Okay.
was like, let me know when I
Okay.
can brush hog the.
Okay, perfect.
And they were also, I mean, I'll just go ahead a little bit, but they were also thinking it might be neat to include, just a mowed trail on the art in the orchard and have some art in there too, so. We don't have to
We
discuss
should-
that piece now,
Yeah, we
but-
should make sure that's coordinated.
Yeah, so we can talk about that maybe at the end. So,
So mowing the trail will give us access to your next piece,
yes.
the inventory.
Yeah, so then in July, we'll try to inventory the invasive species and develop a management plan. My understanding is that is work that we're doing or not? Are we gonna put that out to,
Price quotes.
yeah,
I think that the original plan was to have someone develop a plan for
Okay.
us, but we were going to use our money to pay for that, rather than CPA
Okay.
money. Because we were originally thinking we wanted to do that earlier than the CPA funds would come through. That's my recollection.
But, Colleen and one of you were gonna go out one Saturday and
Yeah,
take a look.
we were all
That didn't happen yet.
Yeah, would that have done that, would that have
But
taken?
that might need to happen after the mowing so you can actually get into
Yeah.
there. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's pretty it was pretty overgrown.
Yeah.
Do we need to do the inventory though before we can do the RDA?
we
And-
don't wanna go in unless it's mowed, cause it's so much high brush.
You just don't have access to everything. You know, if you can mow some spaces between the trees,
Oh, I see.
then we can have
So
access
that's
to
why-
see what plants
Yeah.
are really in there.
I think that the brush hogging isn't to cut down invasives, it's just to cut
Access.
access.
Yep,
So
Access
then
for
we
the
might need
inventory.
then we'll need another either RDA or NOI
I
for
see.
the management plan itself, for whatever we're gonna do when we go into remove stuff.
If we were to have another organization, whatever it's called, an invasive business. Consultant, thank you, come in to do that, would we need to worry about the RDA or the brush hogging, or would it be,
They'd probably
what
just,
would they do? if
they would
you're-
just go in and,
Climb through everything.
Compared
Well,
to
they
my
probably
next
use
suit or
machetes
something.
and
yeah.
chop their way through like a surveyor would.
Like maybe this is a close kept secret, but Melissa's not allergic to poison ivy, so she goes in. And anywhere.
Cause it seems like the alternative is we actually just find a consultant to go in and do it, and at that point, there's no disturbance to the site beyond them using machetes, is that right?
Maybe we run that by Melissa next.
Okay. Cause it seems like that would save us time.
Was
And
Russell
money.
also talking about wanting to brush hog for access to the trees?
Well, we wanna re-identify the trees that we wanna save. You know, we did a rough pass originally.
that was why he was suggesting brush hogging, was to get
Just so
better
we can
access
get
to the
closer
trees.
to things, you know, without having to, you know,
Mm-hmm.
chop our way through. He can just drive through there in 20 minutes, have
So
trails through the
so I
whole
think we're
place.
gonna
He
need
also
that
wants to
either
put
way.
art there, he's creating paths to the art.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing.
Right. Okay, so it seems like it's worth doing the RDA regardless, and having him do that, especially if he's on board and wants to be doing
Yeah, I think
that.
that's worthwhile.
Do we know what, do we know where the paths are and everything? Do we,
I guess we'd spell a lot on the RDA, you know, what,
We need
Yeah.
to draw a plan.
so we would need that. We'd also need to know where the wetlands are well enough. Do we have that from?
we had a
There's
rough,
some
we had a
lines
rough
on
picture. I
And
think
there
one-
are flags out there.
Yeah, one of the aerial photos. You know,
Oh,
we marked
yeah,
up, we marked
that's
up
right.
those
Those are right.
wetlands on the aerial photo.
So we would probably talk about going around, not going through the wetlands, but like, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
Right,
whatever.
and really there's
There's not a lot of growth, there's not a
Yeah.
lot of trees in the wetlands, so that's the accessible area.
Mhm.
It's everywhere else that's really overgrown.
So who decides where the paths are? Is that Russell, or is that?
Well, I think we do it in the RDA.
Alright.
and I can come up with a draft of where they go and we can.
Well, yeah, but who prepares that in the
Well,
RDA?
I can look at I can do the map part of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And try to get a better
And-
photo to work with.
And you could use the GPS points that you have for
Mhm.
these trees and make sure that the trail goes near these ones.
Mhm.
And this is actually accessible anyway. Okay, so for June, we'll try to do the RDA and try to hire a consultant to do the initial invasive survey and management plan. Does that sound June/July?
I mean, so did we budget for a consultant to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
What was the budget?
Colleen found that estimate.
No matter what it was, it probably seemed big then and now it's gonna seem small.
It actually seems small then, 5,000.
Uh,
She got the estimate from Politan,
mhm.
so,
That was just to write a plan, right, not to do the work.
yeah, I
I
think so.
think, I don't think that's unreasonable, is it?
I have no idea.
That's not bad actually.
That's
That should be-
inventory and the plan, both?
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
that makes sense.
Right, but we wouldn't need an RDA for that, cause they come in, just like we said, they come in however they come in and, okay. Just a question about that, so who hires or who, so that one's one where we don't have to do an RFP, but,
Well, the city would be the one hiring,
okay.
so, I just wanna run it by the procurement about just hiring whoever you talk to, and remember that they have to be, it's prevailing wages. So, the quote that they gave you, I don't know, was a prevailing wage quote or not, so,
But for preparing a plan, there wouldn't be construction work, so there wouldn't be prevailing wage categories. that
I
would cover it.
don't know. I remember we were in the process and the procurement officer was sitting next to me and she was like, I hope those quotes include prevailing wages. So that would probably be for the more the construction side and maybe not
Yeah.
the planning side, but
Yep,
just
for the tree
to be
removal.
noted.
Mhm.
Is that something you would prefer to wait till July to deal with?
Well, so the way that it would work is, again, I need to double check, but typically I call 3 people. I don't think you have to do that under 10,000, I think it's just sound business practices. But I don't know, I tend to at least wanna call at least 1 or 2 people to get a sense, cause I did this for some other project that was for the Cook Road acquisition. And the price ranges for this item that I was asking went from 1,000 to 7,500. So, I just think you wanna make sure that you're not getting overcharged. But if there's not a lot of people that do this, then, I don't know what other consultants there are. I don't know who does this.
I know at least at least 2.
Mhm. Who do you know?
SWCA, they used to be NEE, and then Politan that we've been talking about.
Is that the one in Amherst, the first one?
Yeah.
Oh,
They're
maybe they
expensive.
changed their name or whatever.
They
Huh.
probably were not going to be 5,000.
Probably not.
Yeah, I think there are others around, it's been a long time since I've thought about this stuff.
There's also the woman that did the stuff for Lathrop.
Isn't that
Wasn't that
Politan?
This policy.
That was
Yeah,
policy.
she
Oh,
was
okay.
Politan.
Okay.
But I think some of like the small, like, one person,
Shop.
shop wetland places could probably do it, like,
It's not that big of a property.
Yeah, but I don't know. What do we see? Tom Martin or, I don't know. Guess we see Mark Reed more than anybody, but that's not, he has other people do well on the phone.
I know a botanist out of Connecticut, I don't know if you would, I don't know what his rates would be like, or if he would come up this far.
We had the
He's
person
an
who was
independent.
doing the work for Boyles in Northampton Street that we approved that name, credentials.
That's
That's
through
GZA.
GZA. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but they're probably expensive, or.
Okay, so we'll aim for,
Let me just talk to procurement about,
Sure.
you know, we believe this is 5,000, we were quoted from Politan, we just want to be able to go it down. Make sure there's no issues with that.
Okay.
great. So that'll be June/July? Is that right? Okay, and then in the meantime, I'll do the RDA for a path and come up with a draft of the path and we can talk about it.
Do we wanna put dates on, like, the meeting we're shooting for, and our submission deadline or whatever?
So for the RDA, it would need to be submitted by, when is it, before the next meeting? Week before the next meeting?
Mhm.
You have to run an ad. City will have to run an ad for the RDA. So that has to get, it's gotta run the Monday before your meeting.
Okay,
So if your meeting's on the 19th,
so it'd be next week.
you would have to run this week, which means it has to get drafted this week.
Yeah, that feels like too much for me right now. Unless anybody else wants to do it.
We can move on to that.
So, what's the first meeting in June?
July?
July, whatever that month is, that's after
I
June.
think it's the
It's
10th.
not June. I'm not around.
We have it as the 10th. So we have to run it by the 3rd.
Get the holiday in there.
Yeah.
I might throw things off, so, no, actually, that's before the holiday, so, sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a sample legal ad on the website, you just need to plug in the right information and submit it, it takes all of 5 minutes,
Okay,
it's not a big deal.
so we'll aim for the July 10th meeting.
And so if we have, but if we have like, if we have an ecological consultant do the invasive species management plan, they don't necessarily need the path, right? So then the
Right.
path is just for the orchard, just for
Right.
access or whatever.
Right,
Okay.
that's right.
So there isn't really a huge time push on that at all.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess just like, you know, just devil's advocate, does it make sense to just do the one RDA later on in the summer to cover that and cover,
Right.
Yeah, for
you know,
management.
cause then we're
That
only,
makes sense.
then we only have to get everything together one time, do the one, you know, advertisement, it's not a big cost, but,
That's brilliant.
Well, it's $100 anyway,
yeah.
Is it that much for me?
it can be.
Hmm.
So this would, the RDA would be pending the management plan. So ideally August-ish, is that?
Probably. Yeah, they should, my guess is that they could turn around a, management plan pretty quickly, something like that.
Alright, and then,
As far as if we do, I don't know if we wanna decide right now, do we want to be involved in the gardening orchard? And so, cause I put time in June and July to think about that and, but it seems like we probably wanna decide whether or not we even wanna think about it. Do we want to see about having art on the Echodale property?
It may be too soon.
Yeah,
Meaning this year is too soon?
Well, I'm just thinking that if you don't wanna have to file an RDA before that to get mow paths in there.
When do they start? I thought they started in September.
Start in August.
Oh, so it seems like this year won't work. Yeah?
I mean, it could, if the policy got in there and got back to you within 2 weeks and gave you the information.
yeah, I mean, there's no waiting period after an RDA, like there is with an NOI. I mean, we could get through the process, and then he could go out and, you know, brush hog it the next day.
There's no invasives that could get stuck on shoes and carried around by people tromping through, is there?
It's
I'm
multi-floor
sure-
road,
sure
bittersweet.
I mean, you're not gonna, I just wanna make sure that if you mow paths and people are walking through, and they're gonna be walking through carrying whatever it is on the city's property and then carrying it back to Art and Orchard. I don't know enough to, but it's just
I don't know,
pops in
Russell's,
my head.
that's, you know.
That's his thing, I guess, if he was concerned, he would,
Yeah.
It might not have occurred to him.
yeah.
Okay, I will get in touch with him and ask him about that.
Well, I don't know if there's any species that's a problem,
And
but
like
it could be
you told
jumping
me,
the gun.
Yeah.
Maybe of more concern to him, would having people roaming around through there with all of the old trees in there be an issue in terms of the disease transport that he's already worried about? I don't know anything about.
I will
tree
find out
diseases.
really what he's thinking and.
I thought they already picked all of their selections, so, you know,
Am I remembering
unless
right
there's
that
a
they mentioned-
runner-up that they're thinking of
I
putting
thought
in.
he said something, but it may have been, he may have said it like, it'd be great down the road to do this,
Okay.
not this year, I don't remember.
I'll find out what he's thinking. Okay, so we can wait on that. So, starting to implement the invasive species management plan, doing volunteer invasive removal projects. And then in September, sending out the RFP for the tree removal and pruning. And then starting that. Is October too early to start it because of nesting?
I think we were gonna wait for frozen ground if
Yeah,
we got it.
if we, depends on what equipment, someone's gonna use.
Well, do they want the ground frozen when they're ripping out trees?
It was only, if we were going into wet areas, it's preferable to have the ground frozen so that it protects
Yeah.
them. I mean, we may not have to be in those wet areas, but if we're gonna brush hog them, then frozen ground would be the
Yeah.
choice. Or a dry summer, which, we're not having so far, but
Are we planning to pull the stumps out or leave the stumps? We were gonna leave the stumps actually, weren't we?
Yeah.
Okay, so frozen ground has no bearing on
So should I move this October/November tree removal and brush hogging to December/January? And then the pruning, so the pruning should happen in the winter, but it could still happen then in February, March.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's springtime for apple trees is fine.
As long as, I guess, they're still dormant probably.
Yeah, before
Yeah.
they're starting to try to bud out.
They do bud out in March sometimes, so February ideally then. All right. I mean, actually, I think last year they flowered in February. Anyway,
Could we lose all year one of these years?
I know, right? And then, so next winter, when things are quiet again here, like they are right now, we can work on talking about phase 2 of the project.
Formal trails or whatever that may turn into be.
Right, and looking at grants for that kind of thing. So, did I miss anything?
No. I think maybe we should just pick a meeting day for, well, like the second meeting in August to see if we could, if we could get the results of the survey in by the end of July or very beginning of August, then we could get that RDA in by the end of August, and that would possibly give time for the art thing to happen, at the end of August or early September.
Okay. What's the second meeting in August?
The 24th, I'm sorry, in August or July?
Well, or do we wanna try to do first meeting in August? Maybe first-
We may not have the report by then, I would think.
Yeah,
I think we gotta get them turned down in July sometime.
yeah,
So maybe we, say by the 10th of July, we've got somebody turned down to do the survey and the invasive species management plan.
Is it a fine, good, bad time of year to look and see what is growing?
I think they're all gonna be persistent now until well into the fall. You're not gonna miss anything.
I would
It
wanna
may be
go
more
in there.
overwhelming the longer we wait.
Okay, so we'll aim to have the consultant hired by July 10th, and then hopefully that gives them enough time to turn around the plan by the beginning of August. And try to do the RDA for
Okay.
I mean, with some of the stuff, we're already missing the ideal time to get rid of it, so that it isn't setting seed for next year.
I think it kinda has to wait till next
Well,
year.
it's been doing it
Right.
forever anyway, so.
Right.
So it seems like realistically, to get the RDA set and advertised, it wouldn't be until 24th, is that right? August.
Well, August first meeting is the 14th, so you'd have to run it out by the 7th. So
Oh,
it gives you
that
almost,
seems
a
feasible.
little less than 4 weeks to turn somebody on and have them do it and get
Yeah.
back to us.
Okay.
I guess I was thinking the second meeting in the cycle, just to give them a little extra time.
Yeah, and that would be the second meeting in the cycle.
Oh, was it?
July 10th, I think so, because there would be July 10th and then July 24th,
Right.
and then August 14th.
Oh, I meant the second meeting in August.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's possible. I guess if the earlier we can do it, the better.
Yeah, if we wanna get involved with the
Yeah,
architecture, but
all
I'll
right,
find
we'll
out the time.
pencil that in for the first meeting in August, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Does that sound okay to you, Jess, to do the RFP for the tree removal and pruning in like September?
Sure.
Evening?
Anything can change though, so you can plan it all out now, but, you know, if something happens with the invasive plan and they're backed up and they can't get to it,
Yeah.
then it is what it is, so.
But you have no specific time requirements for when you have time available to do things, right?
I'm always busy, so I'll make time for it when it needs to happen.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thanks for putting that together.
Yeah.
All right, all set? Paul Street Extension, we kind of just went through that tonight. Pleasant Street Mills, no updates that I know of. Naugatuck Mills, no updates, I don't see any activity there.
Oh, Pleasant Street Mills, there was the standing water.
I send weekly emails to the consultant who has been trying to get in touch with the contractor to come up with a timeline of what needs to happen. And I've not heard anything.
Right.
It's becoming a sore spot for all of us. They're sick of me haranguing them. I'm sick of not getting information.
Great.
Kind of in like
It's
a
a
stuck,
win-win.
yeah, stuck spot right now.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's not the only issue. There's other things out there that I'm trying to get resolution on, so.
Uh-huh. All right.
All set?
Yep.
Oxbow voting access, we're just waiting for them. David Boyle, A to Z Storage at 184 Northampton Street, they're doing construction there, putting walls up. Lathrop, I don't think we've heard anything from Lathrop. Williston and Northampton School Cross Country Trail, that's stable and as far as
Are they doing work yet or not yet?
I haven't seen them doing work, I haven't been there 2 weeks.
We haven't gotten that report either.
Pond vegetation management, haven't heard anything on
We
that.
did just get something in email.
Something came through today.
Yeah.
Oh, today?
Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah, it did come, we did get something.
It was I think it was dissolved oxygen.
Okay, that's a couple
Monitoring.
charts. Yeah, so I did not,
Monitoring.
yeah, I did not push anything out.
Was that Williston? Was that non-National Pond?
Cash on.
Oh. We,
Well, it came in as Williston Pond is the name,
Oh,
that's,
oh, is it something different?
yeah, that's something different.
that's something
Oh.
different.
What's that then?
Yeah, yeah,
Is that the horse chestnut project?
yeah.
No.
No.
That is, I think, where the Williston Northampton School did a dredging project, like at their pond. I don't know if you were on the commission with Jay.
I don't think
You mean the
so.
bridge that you can see from the road, that bridge? For pedestrian bridge?
Well, they dredged that pond, in like 2000 it was right after right around the time of the Nashwauk Pond project. And, I think as part of, just kind of reading that note, as part of the certificate of compliance for that, the commission, issued, or maybe the order of conditions or whatever, but there were ongoing conditions that allowed for the application of pesticide, herbicide to that pond for pond management. So I think that's what the email was something about that was gonna happen again or something.
Okay.
Let me put this under general business.
Yeah, they're planning on doing a June 9th treatment.
So that's Wilson Northampton School? Or somebody else?
Well, the email came from the GZA.
Yeah.
But they're calling it Wilson Pond, so that's probably the project you're talking of. There's a DEP file number for it.
Do they have it listed in the email?
Yeah, 151-243.
Do you want me to look at the,
That's different than the one for the other one, so yeah, that's gonna be something else.
Yeah.
do you want me to verify with the file? or no?
Yes, you wanna go, you got locked out the cabinets.
But where shall I look?
Yeah, it's always a good question, isn't it?
Under-
It's my hot goal.
Williston Pond.
Ah, look at you, right off the bat.
Well, let's not get too excited.
Is it under the
Excited on the
landowner
number
name?
matches.
Is it under the address? Is it under the landowner that doesn't exist anymore?
Was it a storm drainage repair?
Yeah, something else. I remember that one too. I can't remember what I was thinking about when I was thinking about the Wall Street stormwater thing today. It's gonna bother me.
All right, moving on.
Logan Properties, I think we had an email that says there was no work performed this
No
week. Cumberland Farms, I don't see any activity.
Not yet, I don't think they pulled the building permit yet, but they just went to the planning board 2 weeks ago to get the site plan amended, so they're good to go now.
Can we go back for 1 second?
Sure.
Is it 151257?
No, it's
No.
243.
243 or 234?
243.
Oops,
151-243.
getting dyslexic over here.
Anything East Hampton related, 151,
Yes, it's our town.
our town number.
Town number. Or how that,
Park Street?
I would,
Could be
didn't we
Farmers
move all
Market.
the East Hampton ones? Oh, no, because of Williston, so, I don't know.
it could be under.
Could be under Williston, could be under,
Mason Ave?
Ooh.
What's their address?
It's Park Street, right?
Park Street, might be.
244? That's gotta be close.
Close.
Close enough.
Close in time anyways.
Maybe we should organize these by mass profile. Would that make sense?
And
But
get a
then-
big cross-index database with the
Oh, wow.
applicant and the file number and the address.
But not everything has a file number.
And
It
one
doesn't get a
retired.
file number until it becomes.
Too bad we don't have any retired people on the commission.
I give up.
Or something like
If
that.
and when we get a conservation agent, we can figure it out.
I think Jay's ignoring
I
it.
think so
I'm
too.
not ignoring
He's just gonna get a job,
Jay's
so he's
just
not
choosing
retired
not to
anymore.
respond to
it.
that.
Right. When can you start on it? Melissa emailed around 4:30 a new meeting minutes for the 22nd, so I don't know what's changed between the old one.
She said it was some,
Grammar?
Oh.
no,
Sure, the grandma was impeccable.
or maybe it was the 8th. Was it the 8th? Because the 22nd was the last time, but then they were on the 8th, which I took. There
Right.
was some complaint that came up at the last meeting. And so
About
these are-
grammar?
So these are revised minutes, probably.
She said 5:22-minute meetings tidied up.
Tidied up,
Oh.
AKA.
AKA.
I don't think it's
Grammar.
grammar that's my problem, it's like getting all of the words and go right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, it could be grammar, I'm okay with that.
So why do I have the May 8th ones?
Because we never approved any of those.
No, I just,
You just erased
I just deleted where we said that.
This is our
There were
correspondence
some that we
basket, right? So I don't see anything
approved,
new
but we
on the
approved
top
them
of
with the
that.
change.
Oh, so these,
That might be it, they might just need files just updated.
so these are both approved.
No, the second, 22nd hasn't been.
Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna delete this then, about the 8th. And I'm gonna keep this one about the 22nd.
I move to approve the meeting minutes from May 22nd.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
So,
Oh, wait, you have to abstain,
I have
don't
to
you?
abstain, no, I do have to abstain.
Is that
Do
not?
you guys
a-
need me anymore? Or is it people?
That's
It's
not
just
enough
getting
people.
fun.
Oh, crap.
I had a kid's
We just
kitchen
broke the
event,
law.
so I feel like I should.
I think we're done. There's no correspondence, we're all set.
We did have one correspondence issue that came by email that I think is something easy to deal with. A graduate student that I know who's at UMass is doing a project where, let me find the details.
Deer counting?
It's not Deer County.
Oh, that's
It says,
somebody
this
else.
summer I will be
That was-
providing undergrads with the opportunity to receive some training in non-invasive ecological field techniques and research skills. We will be conducting a series of basic bird point counts and subsequent vegetation identification surveys. We pre-selected 50 sites across the valley, 2 sites fell on conservation land in East Hampton. He gives us the latitude and longitude coordinates. While the sites are designated as publicly accessible, I want to be sure I have proper permissions to do my entirely non-invasive survey. We will leave a small piece of flagging to mark the point.
One was a Pascomic property, so it's not city-owned, and the other one I could not confirm was a conservation property.
Okay, I didn't recognize the locations myself.
Which,
One is the Dwyer Conservation Area, so that's
That's Pascomic.
Pascomic,
Okay.
so that's not our jurisdiction. And
Okay.
then I don't know what that second piece was. I couldn't figure it out. It was a terrible map that they provided.
I didn't recognize where it was.
And I was not about to figure out geographical coordinates that they provided.
You could put those into Google Maps, can't you?
Things to-
But there's no parcel lines in Google Maps. So they
Sure.
can send you to a piece of forest, but you have no idea what it is in relation to. anything. You can look at the road and maybe try to figure it out, but.
Can you pull up GPS coordinates on Oliver, so you could layer them with parcels?
They do have GPS coordinates in the bottom corner of Oliver.
So you could probably figure it out that way.
Can they just go use the city's GIS system,
Which is great.
which has got everything on it?
Perhaps.
That'd be easier. There's an open space layer, so they can click on the open space layer and actually see all of the parcels with the parcel maps and then who owns them and.
Yeah. If it is city property though,
If
do
it's
we
city-
have any, we don't have anything really to
It
discuss
depends
that
on
today.
which piece, the ones that are down in that area, a lot of them are under Board of Public Works because they're drinking water and so they're not necessarily open to the public, so that's why I can't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, until I can sort of figure out which piece it was.
Okay.
When did this email come in?
He emailed me first because he knows me, and that was on the second, no, not the second, sorry, May 31st, and then I think he emailed the commission address a couple days after that, because I was out of town in June first.
Okay.
And then did you forward it to everybody?
I
Or did you just send it to
Did
Melissa
not.
and myself?
don't know, honestly.
Both sounds like we've been all over.
I think it had already come through that he'd sent another one to the Concom address before I got around to doing anything.
But someone has to send that from there out to us, right?
Right.
So
From
that's why I don't think I
conservation.
saw that.
Melissa's the
It
only
did
one who
come
has
out, cause I
access to
got
it.
it. Or no, oh, maybe he CC'd me on it, maybe that's not
This
it.
one maybe, okay. Yeah, because I didn't want.
So the rest of us might not have gotten it.
Well, if you send it out, I'll look at the coordinates.
okay. So just to recap, we couldn't approve those minutes, so.
Oh, because you were,
Strike that from the
Okay.
record, because I didn't mean to slack it that
Okay.
day. Okay,
I think that's it.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Recording?